What if I told you right now, behind the scenes, Pakistan is playing middleman, Saudi Arabia is on standby, Iran is flexing, Israel is threatening, and the United States is basically testing everyone like, hey, so what's the vibe? Yeah, that's where we are. This isn't diplomacy anymore. This is a global group chat, and nobody has muted notifications. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're breaking down one of the most confusing and honestly chaotic geopolitical situations happening right now. Because while headlines say ceasefire, talks, and de escalation, behind the scenes, it looks more like pause the fight, reload, and maybe fight harder. So here's what's happening. Pakistan's army chief, Asim Munir, lands in Iran, not in military uniform, not in full Western suit, but in a more regional diplomacy mode. Subtle signal, very intentional. At the same time, Pakistan's prime minister is in Saudi Arabia. Now you might think, oh cool, global leader is traveling, normal diplomacy stuff. No, this looks less like diplomacy and more like Uber Eats for geopolitical messages. America sends a message, Pakistan delivers it to Iran. Iran replies, Pakistan sends it back. Pakistan right now is basically the scene of international politics. And just when things look like they might calm down, boom, Israel jumps up. And not quietly. The message coming out is basically, we don't care about any ceasefire. We can strike Iran anytime. And we're not stopping until regime change happens. That's not diplomacy. That's a Netflix villain monologue. Now think about the timing. While talks are happening, while the US is trying to stabilize things, Israel is like, yeah, we are still gonna swing. That creates a massive problem. Because now the question becomes, who is actually in control here? And this is where things get uncomfortable. There are claims and growing perception globally that US leadership is constantly updating Israel on negotiations. Let me translate that into normal life. Imagine you're negotiating a deal and the other side is live streaming your strategy to their friend. That's what it looks like. And for a country that brands itself as the world's most powerful superpower, this is not a great look. It starts to raise serious questions like, is the US leading or reacting? Is it controlling escalation or being pulled into it? Now here's where things get very interesting. Inside the US, something is changing. For years, support for Israel, especially in Congress, was basically automatic, bipartisan, no questions asked. But now, that wall is cracking. Reports show a significant number of Democratic lawmakers are starting to vote against sending equipment and weapons to Israel. That's huge, not because it stops anything immediately, but because it signals a shift in political momentum. And in America, momentum is everything. Because today's vote becomes tomorrow's campaign issue. And tomorrow's campaign issue, that becomes the next president's policy. Now let's talk about something that affects you directly. Oil, trade routes, global supply chains. The US has been tightening sanctions on Iran and effectively trying to control movement around key waterways like the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's response, basically, oh, you wanna block it? Cool, let's block everything. We are talking about threats to shut down major shipping lanes, oil routes, trade corridors across the Middle East. If that happens, this isn't just a Middle East problem. This becomes higher gas prices in America, supply chain disruptions, global inflation spikes. So yeah, this could hit your wallet before it hits a battlefield. There's another uncomfortable truth here. Without US support, Israel's military position becomes significantly more difficult in a prolonged conflict with Iran. And that's not speculation, that's strategic reality. Because Iran isn't isolated anymore. It has regional influence, proxy networks, and increasing global backing in subtle ways. Which means any escalation isn't just Israel versus Iran, it becomes regional domino effect. Now let's talk about the word everyone is throwing around. Ceasefire. Sounds peaceful, right? But here's the real question. Is this actually peace or just halftime? Because historically, in conflicts like this, ceasefire often means regroup, rearm, reposition, and then round two. Iran itself has hinted that it believes the pause is just preparation for something bigger. And if that's true, then what we are watching right now isn't de-escalation, it's pre-escalation. So where does this go? There are basically two paths. Path 1. Diplomacy works. Messages through Pakistan lead to real negotiations. US and Iran agree on conditions. Israel is pressured to hold back. Situation stabilizes, at least temporarily. Path 2. Everything breaks. Israel strikes. Iran retaliates, trade routes shut down, US gets pulled deeper in, and once that starts, there's no clean exit. And here's a final twist. For US leadership, this isn't just about foreign policy, it's about political survival. Because if this escalates, gas prices go up, public opinion shifts, election dynamics change, and suddenly, a foreign conflict becomes a domestic crisis. So yeah, right now the world isn't at peace. It's at pause, a very tense, very fragile pause, where one decision, one strike, one miscalculation could flip everything. And the wildest part, all of this is happening while the official narrative still says things are under control. Yeah, sure, because nothing says under control like 3 countries negotiating, 1 country threatening war, and the global economy holding its breath. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.